We begin this morning with President Donald Trump ordering the removal of homeless encampments in the district.
That's right. He's directing Mayor Muriel Bowser to take immediate action on the issue. Fox 5's Melanie Alwick is in the district this morning with more details on the order as well as the city's response. Mel, where are those homeless encampments this morning that the president is talking about?
Yeah, you know, and if people aren't familiar with Washington, D.C., they might see the president's post and think that this is a major issue. But we can tell you that this is something the city has been focused on for several years. So in that post on Truth Social, President Donald Trump specifically mentioned homeless encampments near the State Department and the White House. We drove by former encampments that were there this morning, and they were all cleaned up ahead of schedule. And we can tell you what we're seeing right now is here. This is an area called the Whitehurst Freeway Hill, and you can still see some tents here through the fencing area, and you can see them here more clearly on the hill. Now, this encampment is scheduled to be cleared next week, and that has been on the city's radar and on its clearance list since January. Now, weeks ago, you may remember, we talked about Trump threatening an executive order focused on beautification issues in the city, mentioning homeless camps, tougher prosecutions for gun crimes and nuisance crimes like public urination and graffiti. Mayor Bowser says she has had several low-key conversations with the White House, and it's her belief that the executive order is off the table.
I do believe that the president, and I've said this before, especially as it relates to crime and homelessness, had a picture of the D.C. that he left during COVID, not the work that we have done in the interim to drive down crime and help get people housed. It's just not the same problem. And so we've made that case. And we've also made the case of how the federal government can do its part in both cases.
And we have already seen that partnership that the city has with the federal government, specifically the National Park Service, when they both work together to clean up or close the homeless encampments on federal property and federal parks, taking action on several dozen encampments in the last 2 years. And we can tell you, even in January, the city's Department of Health and Human Services has a website that talks about the different encampments. There were 12 scheduled for cleanup and closure in February and in March. Again, several of those we went throughout the city this morning. Several of those have already been closed ahead of schedule, and the city has been working always when they do this to provide services for the people in the camps and housing for them as well.